Hey there, welcome. Today's video is about difficulty, or actually that there isn't any difficulty. Difficulty doesn't technically exist. And this harkens to the topics in non-dual meditation and non-dual inquiry about effort or effortlessness, even about intention or no intention. And I want to chime in where these things they are just labels. They are just categorizations. And there's no such thing as effort. That thing that we're pointing at called effort, our volition, our will, our striving to create a certain reality, it is both an illusion of an imagination. So we record memories with our limited sense data. We gather images, even experiences, almost like images of our feelings, of our states of emotion and our state of being and our stimuli. And then we try to recreate those with our effort, with our mind, with our conscious, active part. And this is illusory in the sense that you can never technically recreate anything one for one. Infinity is always infinitely different at every moment, and yet it always remains, at essence, infinite. But that effort, that thing we're pointing at, effort, isn't some separate thing. It literally, it's not even a good term for it. It is just the universe. It is just God. Our volition, our will, our choice, our focus point, our striving, our longing, desire, so on, that is God still. That's completely God. It is completely infinite. There's no size difference, no quality difference between all of that I just pointed at that we can call intent or effort, compared to, states of being that we might call effortless, like free flow, just surrender. The surrender is to all that is, which includes all those patterns that we called effort, that we called will. And then we have this, secondary terminology about difficulty. We find it difficult if things take a certain amount of time, if things are unclear about how to achieve, if, we find our effort doesn't match the manifestation of a certain state or image or reality. We give it a different evaluation of difficulty, but that is also simply infinity. And so there is no difficulty, and the meditation doesn't need to be difficult. The yoga doesn't need to be difficult. But there will be a natural tendency for the fusion that is God and effort, or free flow effortlessness and willingness, this holistic oneness of all that is going to have a natural predisposition to be infinite, to have our awareness be infinite. And when we think about that, that can sound extremely difficult because we often label endurance with a set amount of difficulty. 5 minutes is less difficult than 100 minutes, and 100 minutes is less difficult than 40 years, and 40 years is less difficult than 7 lifetimes, and so on and so forth. And when you really get down to the eternity of reality, it seems really difficult. And then we get told in non-duality, in Taoism, in Chan Buddhism, and all these different paths, that it's an effortlessness, it's a lack of intent. You don't even need to have an intention because it's already perfect, it's already God. You just let God's intent, which isn't even a thing, happen. When I say it's not a thing, I mean like whatever the will of God is so much I guess larger or different than our limited intention, that it's almost hard to use a word like intention upon God or will upon God, because it's so much more vast and includes all that is. It has no separation, so there's no contrast where we have that in our perception of like an individual with a will. There's a moment and then there's a future, and we will that future to happen, and there's a separation between the self and the external manifestation that we're trying to create in the future. So God doesn't have that in essence. So using the word will and intent is odd, it's awkward. But when we sit to meditate, when we do our discipline, just remove any sense of difficulty, any sense of this is hard, labeling, any sense of, reacting to effort. Let the natural, mundane effort of existence occur without even calling it that. Don't even call it effort, don't call it will, don't call it me. Just let infinity be. And, there will be moments where maybe we have to do something that we would call uncomfortable for a little while. But even that, the more we detach from giving it that evaluation, that label, the almost equal it all becomes. A small discomfort and a big discomfort almost muddy into just being patterns, and then we're not uncomfortable from them. And so there is this state that's not even that hard to get into, where we just don't believe in difficulty. We don't believe in effort or effortlessness. We just let things be. And sometimes it looks like striving and really focusing and doing something for a long time. And other times it looks more like, a leaf dancing in the wind, effortlessly. But we don't need those evaluations to be. Being is already here. It's always been here. It's before we create these evaluations. And so meditate without difficulty. And don't feel like you're doing it wrong if it isn't difficult, or you're doing it wrong if it is difficult. We don't even need this way of seeing, this way of believing. You can remove these chains of notion that we have upon effort, effortlessness, because some of the issues with these terms is that we just associate them with too many things. We associate effort too much with what we see as an individual volition, and we interpret effortlessness as like ease and joy and pleasant. But these dichotomies, they just don't inherently exist. And the more we think they do, the more we miss the mark of what actually exists, which is this. And so there's no difficult meditation. The meditation of true spirituality, of non-duality, of infinite love it's not difficult, and it's not easy. It's not effortful, and it's not effortless. If you have intentions, or you see intentions are occurring, that's fine. If your being's trying to manifest some state of bliss or love or clarity, just let it do it, see if it happens, see what occurs. You're unaffected by the body-mind patterns trying to make things better. And if you enter states where you don't have an intention, that's good, that's fine, whatever. Also let that be. Thank you so much for watching. Om Sai Ram.